Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mindy. Today we're reacting to episode 6 of season 3 of Heartstopper. Episode 5 wasn't as emotional as episodes 1 through 4. Episodes 1 through 4 had me crying so much. And episode 5 was almost like a come down from all those heightened emotions. You know, Charlie sought help, he got help, and now he's home and he's trying to figure out where he fits in his home life after having sought help for his mental health. And Nick is trying to figure out how to be there for Charlie without it completely overtaking his life. And then we got a little bit of Elle and her gender dysphoria, which has not been a plot point yet in Heartstopper, and I'm actually really glad for that because so many shows that have trans characters focus on the fact that they're trans. We don't get actual character growth from anything aside from their gender. And while your gender identity is a big part of who you are, that is not all you are. We got a lot about Elle's art in previous seasons. We got a lot about how she internalizes her relationships with her friends and how she's handling her feelings for Tao. So I'm really glad they let us get to know Elle as a whole character, as a whole person, and didn't just focus on how her gender identity affects her life. Because while that has a huge impact on who she is and her character, it's not all we should know about her. So, with that being said, I'm really looking forward to this next episode, so let's jump into it. That is a massive time jump. We're in April. Last episode was New Year's. I was not expecting a 4-month time jump. But that means we're in the solitaire timeline. And that makes me so happy.
To name 3 bits of progress you've made over the past 4 months. Come on, human me. You know.
I love this psychiatrist. He might just be a therapist, and I don't mean that as an insult. There's just a major medical difference, at least in America, between therapists and psychiatrists. Therapists can't prescribe meds, and they can't actually diagnose you. They can say, I think you have PTSD, but it's not in your medical chart until a psychiatrist diagnoses you. At least in my experience.
School in general.
I'm here if you want any extra support, okay?
I guess this is going to be like episode 4. Maybe we'll get some flashbacks about the last 4 months from Charlie's perspective in therapy. I could be jumping to conclusions, but Mr. Farouk. I'll just enjoy Mr. Farouk here. I never realized how tall Charlie was until this scene.
I mean, had a lot of help. I still relapsed 2 weeks after. I know it happens.
Relapses.
Normal. We talked about it.
I mentioned that when I reacted to episode 3, I think. It is very common for people with eating disorders to relapse after treatment because it is a lifelong struggle. It is not a, you get treatment and you're done. You have to keep working on it. Why are you wet? Were you playing in the water bowl, you derpy fucking cat?
You're making me feel like shit. You're gonna sit there and make me feel insane, just fuck off.
I was really hoping this would not be as emotional as the first 2 episodes. First 4 episodes. Hopefully, it doesn't get too emotional. I am tired of ugly crying for you folks.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Self-harm relapses are normal, and they don't.
I guess he didn't just relapse with his eating. At least he called for help.
Guess we feel a lot closer. I mean, he seen me at my absolute rock bottom and hasn't run away screaming.
That's because Nick really cares. If your partner actually cares about you, seeing you so vulnerable won't make them run away. It'll make them care more because you are being your true self with them. And they will see that.
Deepen your connection with him. If your intrusive thoughts have lessened, you've got more energy to give to your relationship.
If he's not constantly fighting with himself, he's able to enjoy the good moments of life. And it's going to have a positive impact on him and Nick's relationship.
Well, Charlie.
Yeah, but I really don't want to be defined by the fact that I was bullied at 14 and then had one toxic ex-boyfriend.
But trauma doesn't define you.
He wasn't just a toxic ex-boyfriend. He assaulted Charlie. He assaulted Charlie. Episode 1, I think. I can't remember if it's episode 1 or 2 in season 1. Charlie flat out said no. That's sexual assault. And I do think it was 1 because it was right after him and Nick met and Nick came to his defense. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we're out of time here, so I'll see you next week. Oh, and enjoy your birthday. And party hard. 16.
It's been a year. That didn't click. It's been a year since him and Nick got together because they got together right before his birthday. That is a hell of an anniversary.
Oh, this captures your spirit as well as your likeness.
Miss, how come you
It's a really good self-portrait.
never compliment my work like that?
Felix, I'd compliment your work if you could actually...
I always forget their name is Felix, and I have a friend named Felix, so it cracks me up every time I hear it.
From a local radio station about you.
What?
Yeah, they've heard about your social media blowing up and they want to interview you. Local young artist achieves internet fame.
I don't know if it's my audio or if it's the way it's recorded, but it feels like the teacher's voice is dubbed. The way they're speaking, the sound is going before they move their mouth. Maybe it's an error in Netflix's audio, or maybe it's my audio, but that's not happening with Elle or Charlie. So I think it's the recording.
So exciting. You're literally famous. I'm not famous. Yes, you are. I'm not. Finish your painting.
Also, Elle going viral and being on radio is amazing.
Never gonna get tired of doing that.
Absolutely not, no. But I did get you a present.
Okay.
It's that Instagram famous historian you like, Jack Maddox.
I was wondering if that would come back because Charlie was always on his Instagram. They have to remember they're at school. They do this all the time. It's like, boys, you're at school.
Charlie, have you considered the idea that you and Nick are ready to take things further?
He's talking about having sex. Yeah, I know.
Leave it to the ace person to be so matter of fact about it. That is how it happens. Like, at least if you're ace and also either sex neutral or not repulse, that would be really bad. But that awkwardness isn't there. That hesitation. At least in my experience with my friends, that's how it is. You're just able to just throw it out there.
I know, and I know it's obvious that we both want to, and it's not like we've done nothing. I mean, it's all been over the clothes, but sometimes when we're making out, we...
Yeah, no details, please.
Please spare us the details.
What? No, I want all the details.
God damn it, Isaac. living vicariously through his friends, I see.
I'm scared that he's gonna take one look at me and...
Well, when me and Al started having sex, it was in the spur of the moment. An outburst of fiery passion.
I guess she got over the gender dysphoria.
In the light of the New Year's fireworks.
Yes, Tal, we've all heard this story before.
Right. They did sneak off during the New Year's party. I wasn't sure how exactly far they went because clearly the characters are supposed to be teenagers, so Netflix didn't show it. But I guess I should have put two and two together because she just had that conversation with her friend. It was someone else's house. Just like Elle's gender dysphoria struck her really bad in that first moment with Tao, Charlie's got a lot of body image issues, and it's going to make things difficult for them.
Like, we're still friends. I think. I don't know.
She's still in denial. Sahar told her, hey, you're why I know I'm bi. And Imogen kissed her at midnight and said she wasn't trying to play with her feelings, but Imogen, this isn't how it goes, dude.
Performing in front of people.
Well, think about it. Cheers?
He would be a good drummer for the band.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What is in that?
Everything.
They're gonna be absolutely trashed.
Charlie Spring!
Happy birthday to you.
Tori looked so uncomfortable there.
I wanna try.
Okay, so we are in the solitaire storyline. I don't know if they're going to cover the events of solitaire in this season because Tori made friends with him during solitaire. He moved back to town, or at least to Tori's school, during the timeline of solitaire. This is exciting.
Or when nothing makes any sense anymore.
Kind of the same feeling either way. Beautiful chaos.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, he's a strange character, but I love him.
This is interview tomorrow.
I think I should do it. It's a really cool opportunity.
I think so too. You're so talented and the world needs to know.
She should absolutely do it.
It's gonna...
Things have been really awkward with us. Yeah.
I wonder why.
I've been doing a lot of thinking and reflecting recently. I have no idea who I am. I don't really know much about anything at the moment, actually.
That's okay.
But what I do know is I don't want to keep hurting you.
This is what she needed to do, this honesty.
Do you hate me?
It's not about you, Imogen.
No. I don't think I could ever hate you. You know we'd be awful together, right? Yeah.
That was an important conversation to have. Admitting that, and I don't know how the rest of the season is going to go. Maybe they'll realize that their feelings are too strong. But being able to admit, yes, I have feelings for you, but we work better as friends is so important. Because so many people lose friendships because they think if the romantic relationship doesn't work, that person just shouldn't be in their life anymore. I love that they have music in Heartstopper, and the music they usually have is good, but it copyrights every time. I wish they didn't have so much music in Heartstopper.
Your vibes.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm thinking of doing like business or politics. Tara, what about you?
They are too young. Like, I know you have to try and figure out what you're going to study in college, but there's so much pressure on teenagers, and you should be able to take time to learn it. Not learn it. You should be able to take time to figure it out.
I want to stay close to Charlie. Guys, can we not talk about uni stuff right now? You don't think you could do long distance?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
You're going to Oxford, aren't you?
Yeah, you're doing all that Oxbridge prep stuff. So sorry.
We saw last episode that Tara's family is putting a lot of pressure on her. It is stressing Tara out so bad. All season we've seen she's not been able to enjoy her achievements in school. And now it's causing her anxiety, apparently.
Oh, okay. I think you're having a panic attack. It's okay. My therapist
Charlie would be the one to help.
are having thoughts that I can't control. But let's do some deep breaths together. Breathe in for 3.
These methods really help. So if you have anxiety and you haven't learned these yet, definitely learn them.
Okay. We're in my house. We're chilling. We've had a few drinks.
He's grounding her. He's reorienting her to that space, because sometimes when you're having a panic attack, you forget where you are, in the sense that you know you're there, but you can't exactly remember what's going on. It's trippy.
Drinks.
That was amazing.
I'm so drunk right now.
I mean, at least he can do it drunk.
Maybe you've had enough, you know?
I really like you.
I like you too.
Drunk is not the time, Charlie. Not the time.
I wasn't planning on it. Let's get you some water, okay?
Water is definitely something he needs.
What's that?
You and me. We get do things.
Even when he's drunk, he's awkward as hell. This is amazing.
Sex. I think about it all the time.
I don't know if Nick's face is because he doesn't think they're ready, or if he thinks Charlie's only saying this because he's drunk.
We can go upstairs.
You're incredibly drunk.
Correct response. Like, yes, we're having this conversation, but you are currently drunk.
Now you look at me. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh.
What a way to ruin the mood.
Oh shit, let's go to the toilet, come on.
I remember running around in the garden, and then we were in the kitchen, and then... Oh my god, I'm so embarrassing.
I sense a "why are we like this" coming on, and I can't wait.
I feel like you guys need the egg on toast.
Carbs.
Did he stay over?
Yeah. So? I can have friends over too.
Friends.
She was not having any of his bullshit.
And how everything you've achieved is thanks to us.
She She's so nervous.
And your boyfriend will have to...
It'd be great. You're amazing.
I didn't like the way she was looking at that clipboard. She hesitated.
To have a crush on a celebrity. I can't believe I'm about to be replaced.
See so many of us united in our love of classical art, of history, philosophy, and...
Now he's the one with the body issues. That's gonna be a conversation.
To post my art to my social media, just wanting to share it with my friends and family. But it just started to get more and more likes, and now I have over 50,000 followers.
That's amazing.
Tao's so proud of her. It's amazing.
Is the attention at all overwhelming?
Maybe a bit. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Now, much of your art explores your identity as a young trans woman. Why is that your focus?
I'm very, very proud to be trans. It's a big part of who I am, so I like to explore and express that in the art that I create.
And that's so important right now.
I've got a bad feeling about this interview. The second question was about gender identity, and that is a very loaded question for being the second question in an interview. I really hope my feeling is wrong.
Yeah. Trans identities are the hot topic of the moment. Some call it a culture war, feminists versus trans activists, and so on. Last week...
I hate that my gut feeling was right. They're using Elle as a political statement, either for or against. I haven't figured it out yet. But Elle's not here because her art. Elle is here because she's an artist who happens to be trans. Well, no. Elle is there because she is a trans woman who happens to be an artist, when it should be she is an artist who happens to be trans. And Elle can tell. She is not happy, and she should not be. But
we're human beings.
Well, I mean, our speaker last week believed that the presence of gender-neutral bathrooms will increase...
I had a bad feeling the minute I saw the way that person looked at the clipboard. But I thought she was just figuring out that Elle was trans and unhappy about it. I didn't realize until the question started that they were going to put Elle in the spotlight about her identity. And I'm honestly getting so mad right now.
Cases of sexual assault against women. I'm very interested to get your thoughts about...
Trans people very rarely...
Your speaker last week was transphobic then?
It's a bit of a heavy topic, isn't it? Let's move on to something else.
I cut myself off because I wasn't wording it properly in my own head. The big argument against having trans women in shelters for women for abuse or women's restrooms is that men, quote unquote, would pretend to be trans to assault women. I have not once found a reliable source that cites that. And if there is a reliable source out there, it is maybe 0.001% of assaults on women. Cis men are bold enough to assault women without pretending to be trans. And I took about a 2-week break off reacting to Heartstopper because I had a build-up because I kept getting copyright strikes from YouTube. So I'm recording this after the election. And no matter where you stand on the election in America, just look at the comments on women's posts since the election. men won't pretend to be trans to assault women. They'll do it no matter what.
It's okay, baby. Come on. Let's go. Let's go home.
You'll be hearing from me.
They should be hearing from a lawyer.
Yes, young man in the denim jacket.
I was just wondering if you had any book recommendations about queerness in ancient Greece.
Now that is a wonderful question.
There are so many articles and books covering queer identities in ancient Greece. It's ridiculous.
That's a wonderful question. Because I have just finished reading the most enthralling book.
I am so glad to see that smile on Nick's face. He was feeling like, we saw it when Charlie was laughing at the joke, and we saw it earlier before Elle's bullshit interview. He was feeling uncomfortable. He didn't feel like he belonged, and it looked like he was feeling unattractive to Charlie. And just now he didn't feel quite like he fit in, but now he's happy that Charlie is happy, and that is so good to see.
Hi, I'm a really big fan. I probably want to do classics at uni, so you're a big inspiration to me.
That is so lovely to hear. Classics was my favourite school.
This guy is so nice, and I hope he doesn't ruin it. Because I was really excited for Elle to go viral, and now I'm nervous that this guy's gonna ruin it.
What's your name? Interesting talk, really fun. The Mesopotamian joke was... Yeah. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. Sorry. Hello.
The crush just hit Nick. He didn't get it till he got it.
Yes, it's really hot. Oh my god.
I have a feeling this season's gonna be really awkward for me, because sex scenes in shows are already awkward. Like, I'm not disgusted by them like some ace folks. Not all ace folks, just some. But they're awkward for me. And reacting to them on camera is even more awkward. So I apologize in advance.
Should we stop?
No. Do you want to?
In situations like this, always check in with your partner. If you sense the mood shifts, check in with your partner, because sometimes they're scared to upset you by saying something. So, Nick's amazing.
Can I take this off?
Emotionally, Charlie's ready. Emotionally, he's ready. And him and Nick have been together for a year. Whether they're 16 or not, well, Nick is probably 17. This is, I don't want to say normal for teenagers, because normalizing sex between teenagers is a bit weird. But we have to acknowledge that some teenagers do have sex, especially when they've been together for a year. But Charlie is forcing himself to do things he is not mentally comfortable with, and that's concerning.
We should stop.
No, wait.
Door open, please, Charlie.
Yeah.
Had a nice time today?
She's handling it better than she did in episode 2 or 3. I think it was 2.
Okay.
Mortifying.
I'm
nervous about taking my shirt off.
Thank God. That honesty is so important because now they can work together. If they are still wanting to go to the next step, they can find ways that they're comfortable together. And Charlie needed to be honest. He didn't need... Denying it was just going to make things worse.
I don't look like... I don't care about that. I like you so much. I love you. I want you.
I really did want to carry on. I really want...
Mom, have you seen my laptop charger?
They were just...
Trying to have this conversation with the door open is probably not a great idea. Just saying.
Not at your house, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I just get into this headspace where all I can think about is how disgusting I think I look. Because
This was... For a second I thought maybe this whole thing was a flashback, but I thought his birthday was after the therapy session. So I guess this is his next therapy session.
skinny and I've got scars.
Part of intimacy is trusting someone enough to let go of some control, and that's scary. But as long as you and Nick respect and trust each other, and you communicate and listen to each other, then you're safe. And
It's almost like they consulted with actual therapists for this season, because this was not a canned TV therapy session. It felt more like a real therapy session in my experience, because on TV the therapists tend to lead the client to the solution. Like, they almost give them the answers. And here, Charlie is working it out in his own head while the therapist is giving a general overall view of things. I don't know if that makes sense. If you've been in therapy, you'll get it. But I really like this.
you have it in you, Charlie. You really do.
So that was episode 6 of Heartstopper, season 3, and I think that may be my favorite episode so far of the season. And there's still 2 more to go, 7 and 8, so that might change. But this episode, while it covered the heavy topics like gender identity and transphobia, I think that's the first outright transphobic moment in the show. We know there was a lot of transphobia to Elle before she transferred to the all-girls school, but I don't remember seeing a whole lot of transphobia in past seasons. And I made that comment at the beginning of the episode that we spent 2 seasons, 2.5 now, getting to know Elle outside of her gender identity. Yes, we were aware she was trans, but it wasn't her main story. Her main story was fitting in at her new school, embracing her romance with Tao, and figuring out where that left the rest of her friendships and her and Tao's friendship outside of their romantic relationship. And this episode, while it centered on her being led to this interview under false pretenses, it still gave her that autonomy that, yes, she is trans, but that shouldn't be all people care about her. people should recognize that she is an artist who just happens to be trans. And then we got this honesty between Charlie and Nick regarding their relationship. They know they want to go to the next step. They know they love each other. But Charlie is unsure about his body image, and Nick understands that and is checking in with him, not making him uncomfortable. So, and I really liked Imogen and Sahar's conversation. That was important, and I'm glad they talked about it. They still haven't, I don't think that the kiss on Halloween's going to come back up. So I think I'm just going to have to let that drop. Maybe Imogen wasn't as drunk as she pretended to be. Maybe she was just using the alcohol as an excuse to kiss Sahar that night. That might just be what I have to tell myself. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you at the next reaction.